And as the French government tries to put down the Yellow Vest uprising, soldiers are given permission to open fire on protesters. One America's Pearson has more as the demonstrations enter their now 20th weekend.
French soldiers are given permission to open fire on any Yellow Vest protesters they consider too violent. After more than 5 months of protests against President Emmanuel Macron's disastrously unpopular government, the military governor of Paris has had enough. General Bruno Leray announced that soldiers now have the discretion to fire upon the civilian protesters if they believe their lives are being threatened. He claimed the soldiers should evaluate the situation, and if they believe shooting at civilians is appropriate, they now have permission to do so. This is the latest in a series of escalating responses from the French government, which has been battling the negative publicity generated by the growing protests of the Yellow Vest movement. Counter-terrorism troops from the French army have been deployed specifically to deal with the Yellow Vests, along with some 5,000 police for what is now the 20th weekend of demonstrations. To quash the uprising, the government is also going after the movement's leaders, and a Paris court has ordered organizer Eric Drouet to pay a $2,200 fine for staging unauthorized protests. Drouet helped kick off the first Yellow Vest rally and has been detained by police twice for his role in the protests. President Macron has struggled to overcome the movement, which sprang up over his lack of leadership and government proposals for a massive new tax on fuel. After overwhelming outrage from French citizens around the country, Macron backed down from the fuel tax, but residents are still demanding the resignation of the most unpopular French president in modern history. Macron's response to his citizens' concerns has been to ignore their calls for reform and instead double down on efforts to eradicate the protests. When police knocked over an elderly woman at a rally last weekend, causing her serious head trauma, Macron said fragile people shouldn't participate in protests, and he hoped she learned her lesson. But it seems like it's Macron who isn't learning his lesson, as a new survey shows 4 in 10 French residents are convinced that only a full-scale revolution can solve the country's problems. Researchers say anger in France is much higher than in other countries, and polls show over 77% of the country supports the Yellow Vest movement. And as dissatisfaction with the government grows and more people join the Yellow Vests, the number who favor revolution will likely only go higher. Pearson Sharp, One America News.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.